Well, it's time for pattern predictions, a look at the next 2 weeks of weather, which takes us nearly to mid-January 2026. Meteorologist Danielle Noyes here for the 1 Degree Outside Weather Network. You can get the 14-day forecast in our free 5-star rated weather app. If you haven't downloaded it yet, give it a try. Let us know what you think. If you already have downloaded it, thank you, and continue to spread the word. app.onedegreeoutside.com has some best practices on how to use it. Now, what we're going to start with is the temperature difference from normal. The blues and the greens represent colder than average temperatures. The yellows, the oranges, the reds above normal temperatures. Where are we? Here in New England, no surprise, colder than normal. It is what we have seen so far this winter, and there is no change to that trend over the coming couple of weeks. Although there will admittedly be a few days where we get near normal before the cold blasts right back in. Now, the country on the whole will have some big temperature swings. Warmth actually builds back into the southwest and southern United States, record-breaking for the start of January in spots, 70s and 80s. But big swings in temperature will come in towards the tail end of the first week of January in those spots where we, even though we're near normal in much of the country or close to it, even above normal to the south, we are still on the cooler side right here in New England. Now, the jet stream controls the temperature, right? It's that river of air high in the sky and also steers storms. So when you see these big dips that come in, that can help to create perhaps a more significant snowstorm, a longer-lived snowstorm, and we don't really see that in the cards. That said, you notice the trough, that dip that's carved out, which means there will be continued fast-moving clipper-type systems that come in over the coming couple of weeks. Again, they're fairly moisture-starved, and the best chance of picking up snowfall and precipitation from them is across far northern and western New England. So I do think it will end up being a slightly below average stretch in terms of precipitation. One thing I will point out is towards the middle of January, you do see that trough, that dip in the jet stream, positioned a little farther to the west, which may open the door to temperatures coming up a little bit and also a storm track that may come over New England with more storminess or at least chances for snow and storms to come together as both phases of the jet stream, the northern stream and the southern stream, try to come together towards the middle part of the month. Height to 500 millibars, think of it like a layer of the atmosphere, and the purples represent a cold layer and the oranges represent the warmth. There's a whole lot of cold, particularly in eastern Canada, that continues to kind of rotate down from the Midwest into New England through the middle part of the month. Some warmth down to the south, but again, we dip those heights down even to the Gulf Coast by the time we get to the middle part of the month too. That's why I say there'll be some big up and downs in terms of temperatures in those areas. Notice by January 14th, that big dip that comes in, and we are positioned right on kind of the leading edge of that as well. How does that translate to temperatures? Well, the coming several days through at least the start of January features temperatures that are running generally in the 20s for a New England wide average before coming up a little bit into the lower 30s, so near average towards the end of the period. So the second weekend of January will be a little bit milder, so to speak, than the first. Now, overnight lows are going to be cold. And I point this out specifically because this is a New England wide average. 7 Friday morning and Sunday morning is quite cold. That means northern New England is going to be sub-zero in terms of temperature. Thankfully, not much wind on those overnights into the morning hours. That said, it might be like 10 to 20 below zero in some of the far north country. So a very cold stretch here for overnight lows, back up to around 20 degrees as we head towards the tail end of the first week of January and the beginning of the second week of January too. In terms of precipitation, about a 50-50 shot of a snow shower for the last day of 2025 with a quick moving disturbance coming in. So for the ball drop at midnight, there may be a few snow showers and squalls around. That's an Arctic front. So behind that, it gets drier. I can't rule out some upslope mountain snow showers. And like Matt's talked about before, in this type of pattern, we've got the cold in place. All we need is one of those disturbances to slow down or gain a little more moisture with it. So out farther than 2 or 3 days, it gets a little tricky to kind of pinpoint those chances for snow. So that said, towards the tail end of the first week of January, like the 4th through the 6th, it's about a 30 to 40% chance that remains elevated because multiple disturbances ride along the jet stream and do come by. Overall, though, I do think it does mean below average precipitation in general across the Northeast. Now, if you're downwind of the Great Lakes and you're getting above normal with lake effect snow bands, the central part of the country, below average precipitation, little if anything. And then the West Coast, again, the bullseye with some of that atmospheric river coming in, Pineapple Express, moisture, meaning rainfall, localized flooding, and some intermountain snow that will pile up out over the West Coast, the Rockies, the Cascades as well, Eastern Canada, downwind of the Great Lakes. And there's pretty good agreement that northern New England will have the best chance of picking up a half a foot to a foot of snow in the next 10 days at least, with lesser amounts in far southern New England. So we're adding the snow right where we want it. And with this colder than average pattern, it also means that the snow guns are fired up, which is great news for winter sports enthusiasts. Hey, have you checked out our 24/7 stream, by the way? Basically, a weather channel, anytime, anywhere on your smart TV. Open up the YouTube app, search 1 Degree Outside Network. If you're traveling, if you're on a computer or tablet, we are always at 1degreeoutside.live, and you can just tap the home screen of our app to watch the stream as well.